Everyone, welcome back to Coffee Mug Podcast. Today I'm going to talk about slowing things down and why this is important. Oftentimes, we are engaged in our fast-paced reality, the environment we're in. Being in America and being in the US, things are very fast. The way you have to find a job, go to school, get work done, get schoolwork done, get all your chores done and all this sort of stuff. There's a lot going on in life, and sometimes we become overwhelmed by information and challenges. And you see all those memes online where it's like when you wake up and you have to do 40 different things, and it's like you prefer going back to bed and stuff like that. We've all been there, and to that I say it's time to end the laziness, because honestly, when you think about all the things you got to do, it can be detrimental to thinking of it as you have things to fill your time, and it also has good meaning behind it. So even if you think things like cleaning sucks or homework is also boring and it sucks, or having a job is annoying because I'm working with people that annoy me, well, chances are is that might be the way you think, and you're not even allowing the positive energy. You don't allow yourself to see the bright side. That's the problem. You don't allow yourself to see the bright side on how cleaning is really good for yourself and other people who live around you or with you, how going to school helps you educate your mind and become smarter, and having a job is actually a privilege because you're making money to be able to survive and also help someone who could really be helped. Like if it's a family member, you're probably helping a family member out also. Chances are that's what it is. So it is a great privilege, because there's definitely a lot of people who don't have the employment that they are seeking, and here you are with a job and you're hating it. But you don't have to be there forever either. It's just trying to see the bright side of things before you allow yourself to be consumed by this negative energy that doesn't allow you to have any joy. That's not a way to really want to go about life. That's not a preferable way of living life, because you're going to constantly feel drained. You're going to be drained by the negativity. You're going to not want to get out of bed. You're not going to have energy to do anything, because the way you're setting up your day in your mind is that I have to deal with a bunch of things that I don't like, and that sucks. And that's not a great way to start a week or a day, because you're already setting yourself up for defeat and failure. And again, that's all starting with what you're thinking in your mind. And that's how powerful your mind is. Your mind is so powerful that if you tell yourself that your day is going to be dreadful, boring, and it's going to suck, chances are that's what you feel throughout your day. So you shouldn't allow yourself to just become you shouldn't allow yourself to be a part of a prophecy of misery, because you can always have something good happen to you. And you also got to be able to open yourself up to a possibility that's going to be really good for you, just as long as you're also being optimistic about the things you want and working towards it. And yeah, of course you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, you're going to fall short, but that's just part of the process. That's what everyone's going to go through. And there's going to be few exceptions where people advance further, and maybe they already have a background of money from other family members or a trust fund. But honestly, what matters the most is your willingness, your effort, your mentality on what you want to do with your life. And I talk about slowing down because, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we think we know everything. And the worst part about it is that we find out how wrong we are and we feel more foolish than before even starting something new that we really thought that we had all the answers to. And, I really do think that there's a difference between confidence and just being ahead of yourself or being cocky or arrogant, because again, you can think that you have what it takes to get the things that you want to get done, and then the other part is that you haven't acquired a set of abilities or you haven't sharpened them enough to take you to your next goal. So that can be something where it's like, if you don't have the best writing skills probably, and you don't like asking for help because you think that makes you look less competent somehow, and you're falling more short, and then you end up finding out that the best student actually gets help directly from the professor, and it's like a complete 180 on what you thought, because you might have thought that person just was this incredible writer that doesn't need any help, and that's not always the case. There might be a few people who are, again, just really talented like that, but doesn't mean that they're gonna have everything like that in their life. Like, there's gonna be things that people are very weak or pathetic at, and I think that's pretty reassuring, because people aren't meant to be good at a whole bunch of things in their life. Like, some people are naturally gonna suck at some things and are gonna have to really try hard to get better, and that's usually how it should be for most people. Just that, again, there's always gonna be that 0.1% or even lower that are at a very unfair head start. That doesn't mean that you in your life can't make any change or progress, and you don't have to model your life off of people who have extraordinary talent. You just have to worry about yourself and not worry about others, because what other people are doing is their life and your life is your own. And it doesn't mean that life can't be good. It's just being able to allow yourself to appreciate what you got, what you can do, and what steps you're going to put each day to take yourself a little more further. And sometimes you can do that just by going 1% higher each day. And you ask yourself, what can that possibly look like? And I'll just say, just take it a step at a time. So, if you want to become a better reader, find something to read every day. Have a book that you actually want to read, and read it. And, count how many pages, how many chapters you've read, and challenge yourself to read more. And also, before finishing each chapter, try to remember what happened in that chapter. Even write it, whatever you want to write, to help you remember, if that helps. But I strongly encourage that, because there's a difference between reading and remembering what you read, and those things go hand in hand. So I know not everyone's gonna want to read and stuff like that. Like, it can literally be a sport. Learn a sport, learn the rules, and truly ask yourself, is this something you're interested in? And actually try it out with some friends before you make it an official choice of being in a team or something like that. And then you can really see how much you want to invest in that, because sometimes there's going to be things where you have to pay money for, and it's going to be a lot of money, and then it can be a total waste of time for yourself. So that's why I would always say, find a way to do things for free where you don't need to invest so much money. If it's a hobby or a career, find a way to get information without spending too much money, so you can make an informed decision that could cost you a lot of money in the long run, and also so it doesn't go to waste. You want to make wise decisions so that you have money for other things that are also important in your life. So, you know, that's my 2 cents on that. And that's part of just slowing down, just being more confident in your choices, being well informed, not being in a rush, just letting things come to you the way it needs to go, and thinking things through. Sometimes you're going to want to jump in the deep end and take a risk, and I think that's still okay. But you got to also sometimes consider what you are risking. So that's another thing to also remember, because if you're getting yourself into a high risk for a high reward, that can be something that can be very rewarding again. But if it's going to be a high risk where it's going to hurt you more than getting that reward, then you obviously got to weigh that also into consideration, so that you're not putting yourself in a place of harm and a place where you possibly can't come back from either. So yeah, got to consider all your options in life, and not always feel like you're in a rush. And inform yourself, learn as much as you can. I strongly encourage learning as much as you can, because the more you learn, the more you'll realize how difficult things are. And it doesn't mean that you need to be defeated by what's difficult. You just need to realize, are these difficult things gonna make me feel like I want to do this for an X amount of years? And is this something that I feel like in my life I want to invest in? Because my life and my time is precious. Those are things that I'm not going to be able to ask back for. So I need to really be making the best of my choices while I'm still here, and just see if these things are going to make a good impact on me. Those are good things to ask yourself, being mindful, even journaling things, even journaling down. Some people don't like writing stuff down, or thinking that they have to have a diary, and honestly, it's not always like that either. It's just like one of these great Roman rulers, Marcus Aurelius, you might have heard of him. He was literally a ruler of the Roman Empire, and this man had a journal and wrote down his thoughts every single day. So that's should be enough to say that it's nothing. It's not gonna you're not gonna be feminized by writing things down. Okay, you're still gonna be pretty much a man. It doesn't really make you less of a man. It just makes you more in tune to what's in your mind and what's working and what's not working. Sometimes we don't even know how well our mind works until we write things down and see how we actually think for ourselves. And also being friends to your family members and other people in your life that will tell you the truth, that will put you, other people who are going to make you accountable, other people who are going to tell you the truth of what you are actually like, and see what you don't see within yourself. There's going to be things that you won't see until someone actually tells you. So be sure to be around people who are going to be honest with you. And believe me, if you don't like what they say, you can always make the changes. You don't have to be boxed into whatever you think of yourself, especially if it's something that you can make an improvement on. It doesn't have to be in a short amount of time. It's just something that you should have on your mind. And always remember to be present. Be present. Be 100% there. Don't always multitask. Sometimes you're not going to do things 100% correctly when you multitask. Just multitask when it makes sense to do it, like when you're driving and stuff. There's also going to be times like if you're cooking and stuff like that, but just as long as you're putting your attention 100% there, you're gonna be fine. Because once your thoughts start to drift, that's when problems occur. And it's not the end of the world if they do happen, but you just want to avoid as much problems as you can, especially if you're driving and you don't want to distract yourself so much where you can get in a potential life-threatening accident or something like that. Just learn to keep your focus with you and the real world, and not be so scatterbrained. There's a level of ADHD with being scatterbrained and having your focus on everything, and sometimes we need to focus one thing at a time, because when we have our attention on everything, we don't have 100% of our attention on anything. So that's why it's important to just single out one thing at a time and multitask when it's absolutely necessary. And yeah, life will go a lot better that way. I know it's going to be difficult, but trust me, nothing meaningful in this life is ever going to come easy. And the more we become aware of that, the less surprising it's going to be. And we can still do things we enjoy. We just gotta check in with ourselves. Is this something that we get any satisfaction from? And if the answer is yes, then that's how you know how to keep going the route that you're taking. Was it a good job or a relationship or buying a new car or a house? You just have to check in on your process and the things that you're getting from it. And if you're in a net positive, things are good. Things are looking good for you. And you should always reward yourself. And if you're in a net negative, then you gotta start looking at what's going on and what's causing the problems and what you can contribute to solving those problems. It's good to always find a way to rely on yourself to solve your problems and be able to get counsel from people who are willing to help you. We don't have every answer for every problem. I am aware of that. So it's just good to be down to earth, realize what you can and can't do, and always work on the things that are going to benefit you and make your life much more satisfying as a whole. So I hope this helps. I hope to see you in the next video. If you like this, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.